Welcome back to the Booksia Author Spotlight, your weekly dive into the minds and stories crafted by Australia's most compelling writers. Today, we're dedicating our full 10 minutes to an author who has made a striking transition from academia to Australian crime fiction, Claire McNeel, and her critically discussed debut novel, Darkness Runs Deep. Claire McNeel's professional history is perhaps as intriguing as the mysteries she now writes about. Her entry into the literary world is backed by a substantial and serious academic foundation. She holds not one, but 3 degrees, a Bachelor of Nursing and a Bachelor of Psychology, culminating in a prestigious PhD in neuroscience. Before pivoting to fiction, McNeel worked both as a registered nurse and a researcher, and also spent time as a sessional academic. Her earlier writing efforts were centered mainly on scholarly work and academic journals. This impressive academic background provides a fascinating lens through which she approaches the psychology of her characters. Her earlier writing efforts were centered mainly on scholarly work and academic journals. Interestingly, the narrative that became her published debut didn't start as a novel at all. It originated as a screenplay. This screenplay achieved early success, becoming a finalist for Best Screenplay at the Byron Bay International Film Festival. In terms of her personal connection to the story's setting, McNeel currently lives by the beach on Wadawurrung country, along with her dog Homer. She also has deep generational roots in Melbourne's passionate football culture, proudly identifying as a fifth-generation Melbourne Demons supporter, sufferer. Claire McNeel's first published book is Darkness Runs Deep. It's classified as a striking new Australian crime novel and was released in paperback format in January 2024. The ebook quickly followed, noted for release on 30 January 2024. It is approximately 350 pages long. The novel wastes no time in establishing a dark, defining moment for the rural community of Garindiru. The entire town is haunted by a horrific crime that occurred years earlier, back in 1993 on New Year's Eve. In the darkest hour, a blood-soaked teenager is seen fleeing the local Garindiru football oval before disappearing. The immediate consequence of this violence was severe. The junior football teams from both Garindiru and the rival town, Denbigh, were banned from the oval. 8 months after this trauma, the story's protagonist, Bess, a young teacher, returns home to Garindiru. She finds the town trapped by a moment in 1993. Her parents are struggling, and several people are missing, including her brother Tom and his best friend Danny. Also conspicuously absent is Mitch, Danny's father, described as a homophobic, abusive ex-cop. It's clear to Bess that nobody in the community wants to discuss the events that took place. Segment 3, The Catalyst, Football and Confrontation. 3 minutes. The real engine of the plot starts with a seemingly innocent, though challenging, act. Bess is thrust into the role of community leader when a childhood game of dare with her former best friend Jules forces her to form a women's footy team. The goal is for this new women's team to play against their traditional rivals, Denbigh. Bess reluctantly recruits players, but the formation of the team quickly lights a fire under the simmering tensions within the community. They immediately face immense opposition from hostile locals, including Bess' own father. This backlash manifests as open conflict, revealing deep-seated issues like sexual discrimination and outright misogyny. Critics noted the portrayal of the whinging blokes banging on about women knowing their places. As the women fight to simply exist on the oval. The secrets, resentments, and hidden violence that the town had previously held tight and close begin to boil over. The central tension driving the novel asks whether forming this team will manage to bring the small community back together, or whether it will be the final thing that blows everything apart. While Darkness Runs Deep is marketed and presented as dark and compelling Australian crime fiction, the sources suggest its heart lies in a different genre. Some reviewers argue that this is not really a book for those seeking Australian rural noir. Instead, they propose it should have been marketed squarely as a feel-good story dedicated to the passion behind AFL and the power of sport to overcome social barriers. Despite the underlying horrendous crime that traumatized the town, the core narrative focuses on redemption and moving forward. The book uses the rise of the women's team to explore themes of unity and emotional issues. It confronts serious issues that local communities can no longer hide, such as sexism and homophobia. However, the emphasis on the sports narrative led to some critical notes. Some readers found that the central crime was brushed so thin, obscured by the constant football palaver. The plot arc of a women's team battling prejudice is recognizable, with parallels drawn to classic sports films like A League of Their Own and Bend It Like Beckham, suggesting the plot runs on very familiar rails. Furthermore, because an AFL team requires 18 players, some critics found the number of minor characters too high to track or properly invest in. Ultimately, regardless of the classification, Darkness Runs Deep is described as a fiercely told and breathlessly compelling narrative that explores both the best and worst of who we are. It offers a complex view of community life and the profound ability of sport to act as a vehicle for change